Hey, what is up guys, Speer Gaming here, and welcome back to another product review. Today we're going to be reviewing our very first controller right here on the channel. Now, this is going to be the HEX Gaming Blade Xbox controller. So huge shout out to HEX Gaming for sending this controller out to me to test and review. Now this is just one of HEX Gaming's controllers for the Xbox. They have plenty more designs you can choose from, and they also do have PS4 controllers as well, along with next-gen controllers for PS5 coming out very soon. I will have the first link in the description box below if you guys want to check this controller out for yourself. But in this video, we're going to be doing an unboxing and take a look at what's inside the package when you buy this, as well as take a look at some of the features that this controller offers and any customization that you might have. Then we'll give you guys some gameplay to showcase functionality of the controller itself, as well as give you guys my overall thoughts and opinions. So if this review does help you out or you find it enjoyable, be sure to let me know in the comments section down below, and let's get into it. Alright, now first things first, you can pick up this controller off of Amazon. Link will be the first description down below, and the current listing shows at $185.99. Now there is a ton of colors and design choices you can go through, and some of them are really cool, and I think that plays a big part in why somebody might want to get these controllers, because if you're spending so much money on a controller, you want to definitely have one that you really like and looks awesome. Now the package itself, it comes in, looks very sleek and professional. You can see on the box it says it's designed for esports tactical gaming controller. On the back, again, it says custom designed and engineered by HEX Gaming, and that they only use authentic controllers to build their esports controllers. So that is a big plus side. You know that you're not going to get some off-brand controller when you buy this product. So if we go ahead and open up the box, you'll see the controller comes in a nice bubble wrap casing to protect for shipping and handling. So inside you've got the Blade controller, and then you've also got the quick start guide along with the after sales that shows you how you can get your 6-month warranty on this controller. Now the HEX Gaming Blade controller does have 2 paddles on the back, as well as interchangeable thumbsticks and trigger stops. This controller is compatible for the Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, as well as for PC. The HEX Gaming Blade controller is designed for tactical esports with a focus on FPS games and control. Now taking a look at the controller itself, the front face of it, you can see it's got the nice HEX Gaming logo where the Xbox home button would be. You've got the thumbsticks as well, which are interchangeable by the way. You can buy different size as well as different type of thumbsticks from HEX Gaming. Now flipping the controller over and taking a look at the back, you can see we've got the 2 paddle buttons, the K1 and the K2 button. I like that the buttons themselves are a pretty good size. That way, depending on how you could hold your controller, you could either press in the middle of the button or on the sides. Then straight above the buttons, you've got the trigger stops, which I've never used a controller with these before, so it's pretty interesting to see how they work and what they function. So basically, if you don't know what a trigger stop does, it's a mechanism that allows you to control how far you have to press your trigger buttons before they actually register a button press. So for example, on the side next to the trigger stop, you can see there's a long line and there's a short line. If you have the switch turned down to the short line, the trigger stop is active and you have less distance for your trigger button to actually register a press. If you have it turned up, it's going to actually be a softer press because there's no trigger stop there, but you have to press it further down to register a hit. Now the main games where these will be helpful would be racing games, where you might need just a slight adjustment on either your brakes or your gas button. But what I noticed from using this for the past week is it does make a difference on the comfortability factor as well. Some things in game, such as like aiming down sights, feel a little better without a trigger stop, whereas some things like pulling the trigger for a gun might feel better and more precise and snappy with a trigger stop. So having the slider that allows you to change which trigger on the fly is really neat to add that level of customization. Now with the paddle buttons on the back, you're able to remap any button press you want to those buttons, which make it very handy when it comes to first-person shooters. Different movement button presses such as jumping, sliding, dodging, crouching, that requires you to take your thumb off of the right stick to aim is, for example, a great reason why you would want a paddle on the back. It's a lot easier to just press that button versus taking your thumb off of the aim stick, and it might make a difference depending on your situation. But having the ability to remap this mid-game is very easy to do, and it goes over at how to do it in the quick guide setup. Now moving ahead to actually remapping the buttons on the back for this controller. It's very easy to do. We'll give you guys some gameplay to showcase me doing it. So on Destiny 2, the jump button is typically the A button. You can see if I press it, jump in the air. So if I wanted to remap the jump button to one of the buttons on the back, all I would need to do is press the left bumper, the right bumper, and then the view button. You hold that down for 5 seconds. You wait until the LED light comes on the back, then it's in remap mode. And once it's in remap mode, all you need to do is press which back button you want to map it to. So the left one. And then we're going to hold the A button as well for 5 seconds until the blue light will flash as well. Then if we exit remapping mode, the left bumper, right bumper, and the view button again, hold that for 5 seconds. Now we can see and test it out. If we hit the back button, the A button is going to work and we're able to jump with the back button. Now you can do that with the right button as well. So we'll go ahead and remap this to our B button so we can dodge and slide and crouch. So again, left bumper, right bumper, view button to enter the remapping mode. Then we're going to hold the right button on the back along with the B button for 5 seconds. And once it flashes blue, that means we're good to go. So you can go ahead, left bumper, right bumper, hold view to exit remapping, and then you can see the B button will work on the back of the controller. Overall, pretty easy to do. You can do that with any combination of buttons you want to remap, and it's very difficult to accidentally enter the remapping stage. Some controllers I know, for example, when I did a review on an installation kit to install buttons on the back of your controller, I found after the fact a lot of times I would accidentally enter that remapping stage. But so far, after using this controller for a week, I haven't noticed me accidentally do that. So that's very good. Now, overall, what are my thoughts and opinions on this controller? Well, coming from my standpoint, I've never used a Scuff controller. I've never used a Battle Beaver controller. The only controllers I've used with paddles on the back was, as I mentioned, that installation kit where I put buttons on the back of my controller myself. That's the only experience with buttons on the back of the controller that I've had. So this is a good starting point, I think, if you're trying to get into elite controllers, because controllers such as Scuff, for example, will have 4 paddles on the back, depending on which one you buy. So having 2 buttons on the back, if you're not used to it, I think is a great starting point. I think the customization of this controller is really nice and clean. There's a lot of really cool themes and designs you can get for your controller. Swapping the thumbsticks out is also a huge plus, because I always like to have the right stick a little bit longer. The trigger stops are really nice as well, give you a lot more precise feeling combat. Overall, the controller feels really good. I have had a couple complaints about this controller, nothing too crazy, and it might just be me, but I did notice that I do have a tiny little defect on the right stick. It's not that noticeable, it doesn't really affect anything, just kind of a weird design flaw, I guess. But the only other real complaint that I had was the texture of the thumbsticks, because I'm really used to using Control Freaks on my controller, which are very rubbery, and these thumbsticks feel more plastic, so the grip texture on the thumbsticks themselves, after using them for a few hours, does start to wear on my thumbs a little bit, and I can kind of feel it. So maybe if the thumbsticks were a little more rubbery feeling, the sticks themselves feel fine, but I guess it's just the material the sticks are made out of. The other thing too, I was testing with the trigger stops, and when I have the trigger stop to short mode, the edges of the trigger stop, I guess how I hold the controller and how I press the trigger, kind of gave the same feeling as well as the thumbsticks. So over continuous use, if you're using the middle of the trigger, that's fine, but I guess I use the edge, and so continuously using the short trigger stop, I could feel it start to wear on my fingers a little bit. But other than that, this controller is fantastic. Again, those are the only tiny complaints I have about this controller. I've only used it for a week, so if you guys want to, I can do a 6-month review after I've used this for a while, because I know a big thing with controllers, for me at least, is how long until this controller gets stick drift, or how long until some of the buttons give out. Now for Xbox controllers, I've been very fortunate and haven't had stick drift happen very often versus PlayStation controllers, but I know if somebody's looking to spend a lot of money on a controller, how long that controller will last plays a huge, if not the most important factor in deciding whether to purchase this or not. So again, I can do a follow-up in 6 months if you guys would like to. Let me know in the comment section down below. But that is going to be a review on this HEX Gaming Blade Xbox controller. Again, a huge shout out to them for sending this product out to me. Really do appreciate that. Overall, I'm really impressed with this controller. Everything looks and feels very good. Other than the minor texture and material things that I mentioned before, I think this controller is definitely worth the buy. Again, the link will be in the description box below if you want to pick it up. And if you want to check out any of my other product reviews, you can click the link on screen now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.